Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Cary Weston, and today we're going to talk about the 10 simplified rules of marketing, my 10 simplified rules of marketing that I've put together. So over the years, I've found that simplicity is beneficial for me to teach and consult. The simpler I can make it, the better, right? There's one thing I don't like, it's jargon, it's tech speak, trying to say things for the sake of using trendy words. I think common sense, functional, straight to the point, right? The name of the show is Practical Marketing for a reason, because I live in that space. And these are 10 rules that I put together a long time ago, making a presentation actually, to a group of folks. And they asked me to put together the advice that I think resonates the most over time. And this was probably 14, 15 years ago. And I've revisited this list, I'd say 5 or 6 times through the years, and made very small corrections or changes or, to the wordings. But for the most part, these are evergreen principles that I teach, I coach, I use, and I believe in. And I want to share them with you, right, as part of this podcast. So number one, they don't know what you do. Okay, so we're talking about customers here, and as a business owner, you know more about what you offer, and you're closer to the day-to-day business than the average prospect or customer, even employee for that matter. So when putting your messaging and campaigns together, it's best not to assume that your target customers know what you do or how it will help them solve a problem, right? We call this the curse of knowledge, where things that are so simple and basic to us through our lens, through our experience, we seem to think that everyone might know those basics, those beginning things, those foundational levels, and they really don't. In fact, we know they don't, because you have people all the time ask you very basic and very similar repetitive questions all the time, right? So first rule is they don't know what you do. We start there, okay? And the second rule, again, talking about customers, is they don't care what you do, okay? So we'll pause there just for a second. They don't care what you do. On average, your prospective customers, they're too consumed with their own schedules, tasks, deadlines, daily life, right? You can relate to this. To notice the details of your business on a regular basis, right? I share it's a good idea to remember that the conversations that you have 100 times a week, right? This may be the first time to whatever prospect or customer you're having. This may be the first time that they've had this conversation or looked into whatever they're looking into, right? We don't wake up in the morning. Just put yourself in the same position. You don't wake up in the morning and say, boy, I better go learn all I can about Bob's Hardware. I don't need anything, but someday I might, and I want to be well armed. I want to know everything about Bob's Hardware, right? You just don't do that. Our own life gets in the way. So just knowing that they don't care what you do, right? They don't know what you do, and they don't care what you do. That's where we start. Number 3 is until they need what you do, okay? So let's keep going. Life is busy, and we live in an age of micro moments and instant gratification, don't we? When someone needs what you offer, ask yourself, will they think of me first? Will they find my business online when they're looking? Will they know that I'm the one that can offer them what they need, right? So evaluating your readiness and visibility from a customer's point of view is important, right? And so thinking about the combination of these first 3, and these first 3 are together for a reason, is people don't know what you do. They don't care what you do until they need what you do, okay? And then that's when the work starts, isn't it? Is hoping that they do find you. Well, and here's the truth. Rule number 4, if it's hard to find, they won't find it, okay? We're talking about information now. Remember that your habits, your likes, your frustrations as a consumer may be similar to what frustrates your customers. You're human, right? Just because you are in the business doesn't separate you from being a customer in other aspects, right? So cover the basics with your website and materials whenever possible. Things that can easily be overlooked are pricing, phone numbers, addresses, FAQs, right? Those are common questions. It can be easy for customers to look for alternatives and competitors for what you offer if the information they are looking for is not visible and accessible, right? So we're talking more about our website at the moment here, but think about the frustrations, right? That's the F word of the internet, frustrations. Think about the things that drive you nuts. These are the same things that drive your prospects and customers nuts, right? The very basic things. How much does it cost? How do I contact? Where are you? When are you open? The lowest thing here is important all the time. So the phone number, the address, the hours, right? How do I contact you? I once had a client who is a $100 million manufacturing company. And when we surveyed their emails, coming in from prospects, 60+% of the emails that came in had one question. Now, it wasn't the same question. It was a variation of it, but this topic was in more than 60% of the emails that were coming in specifically from the website. And they were asking this one question: how do I order? How do I do business with you? You see, this manufacturer has a network of dealers and distributors. They knew this to be true, and they assumed everyone else knew. And so the website was full of great photography, great information, great videos and processes, and this is what we make, and this is how we do it, and this is our people. But it left off a very specific, very important question, which is, how do I order, right? How do I do business with you? So when we modified the website to build a page talking about how to order, and we utilized all of their situations that people call them for and the reasons that they're looking to order and the types of orders and the types of businesses and all, it was a one page. It was very exhaustive and comprehensive and valuable. That question went away. So, sales went up and the question went away. And, we stop thinking about the obvious sometimes. We get so caught up in fancy lingos and, making sure we put everything everywhere that sometimes we forget. So if it's hard to find, they won't find it, okay? And number 5, if it's hard to understand, they won't remember it. So rule number 5, if it's hard to understand, they won't remember it. Your company messaging should be as simple as possible. So if the features and benefits you choose to promote are focused on the needs of the specific audience you serve, your results will be better. It's always best to speak in customer-friendly language and not industry speak, right? Take a look at your materials right now. Are you using any acronyms, any industry terms? Are you making assumptions in any way? Are you overcomplicating things, right? Back to that curse of knowledge. If it's hard to understand, they won't remember it, okay? I've got a tip at the end of this episode on utilizing ChatGPT to help you with this specific thing, to help you look at things through the lens of your customer. I'll give you a tip at the end. All right, rule number 6, if it's hard to do, they won't do it. Okay, so remember, the attention span of folks are getting shorter. Now, it doesn't mean they won't pay attention if it's not valuable, but they're giving you a shorter leash to make the decision as to whether it's important or valuable to them, right? So consider the goal of your marketing efforts. It should be to clearly define the benefit and value you provide as quickly as possible, but through their lens, right? Think about making the process faster and easier for your customer. They've got to use as little calories as possible to process and understand what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, and if it matters to them. Okay, so if it's hard to do, they won't do it. Again, most of our searching, researching, looking at companies, finding answers and information is online. And if you think about it this way, we don't capture them anymore, right? It's not like they walk into a store and it's a physical activity to leave, get back in the car and go to a competitor. If we're online looking at your website, or a prospect is looking at your website, it's just a click away to leave. That's a very low friction activity, which if you think of it that way, you earn the opportunity to make a first impression. What are you going to do with it? And the combination of being visible and easy to find and speaking customer language, these all go towards the goal of, if somebody finds us, we want to make the most of that opportunity, right? So if it's hard to do, they won't do it. Rule number 7, what you know is valuable. Business owners, I got to tell you, this is probably the most frequent misconception in people's minds that own businesses, is that I don't know marketing, right? I'm not a marketer. I hear that a lot. I know how to plumb. I know how to fix electrical. I know how to build a house. I know how to do payroll. I know how to make baseball bats. I know how to whatever it would be, but I'm not a marketer. And I tell them that you are, right? Because what you know is valuable. Rule number 7. It's common, right? Not to fancy yourself as a marketer or even think you can do marketing. But know that when it comes to effective marketing, reverse engineering your experience into proactive answers, resources, and materials is an extremely valuable exercise. More information on this one on the website, practicalmarketingshow.com. Check it out. But the ability for you to understand the conversations that you have, the answers you provide, the service you've provided, what the customers want, the things that have made your business successful, that is what successful marketing is all about, is reverse engineering the things that you do and know that make you special, different, unique, and valuable, so that someone who hasn't met you yet can experience that as quickly as possible, right? So what you know is valuable, okay? Rule number 8, you get seconds, not minutes, right? Go back to our 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's 1 click away from leaving, going to a competitor, right? People are busy and there are many distractions that are constantly begging for their attention. You'll do best if your messaging quickly gets to the point and makes it easy for customers to understand what you do and how they will benefit. They will benefit, right? You see a consistency here in the rules so far. Of the 8 rules, a lot of them are about thinking about the customer, making them the hero, making it easy, right? There's a reason for that. And if you turn yourself into a consumer for a minute here and think about the things that you appreciate and respect and frustrate and get mad at, you can see the trends are the same. Look at your own business through that lens and be that person for a minute, and you can see where these rules come into effect. Number 9, simplicity is worth more than creativity. So being creative and inventive with your marketing efforts, it can be rewarding, but if the customer has to say, what does that mean? Well, everything you've done is for naught, right? So to be effective, start with the basics and build from there. Don't let creativity get away from the basic goal. That's my favorite phrase. What's the goal? And I hate the term, what does that mean? If I have to say or think, what does that mean? Well, quite frankly, it means that whatever we did wasn't in the arms of being simple as possible, right? It wasn't in the spirit of making it as easy as possible to understand or to put it in customer language. It's typically a you versus we problem, right? And a you versus me problem means if you look at your website copy or marketing copy, how many times are you saying we or I versus you? You should be saying you a lot, right? You should be speaking to your prospects, to your customers. But the truth is many websites and website copy and articles and messaging and campaigns really pound our own chest. Talk about we are this, we are that. People want to know what you're going to do for them, right? So let me just do a quick recap of the 9. They don't know what you do. They don't care what you do until they need what you do, right? And then if it's hard to find, they won't find it. If it's hard to understand, they won't remember it. If it's hard to do, they won't do it. What you know is valuable. Don't dismiss that experience and expertise that you have. You get seconds and not minutes, right? So make it quick. Simplicity is worth more than creativity. Okay, those are our first 9. Rule 10, they still don't know what you do. Okay, you can do it all right, and you can still have somebody say, I didn't know you did that. It happens, right? So keep at it. Be consistent, be focused, be repetitive, and remember, be consistent, be focused, and be repetitive. These are best practices. These are not golden tickets or silver bullets, right? These are things that, in just like exercise, we've got to do it over and over again. Going to the gym once, right, and coming home sore is awesome if that was your goal, to go to the gym and come home sore, but it's not going to do much for your long-term health, right, if you only do it once. the ability for you of using this as principles, right? These are rules and principles that you apply over and over and over again, and knowing that even if you do it all right, we still work with humans, we still communicate with humans, we still sell to humans. And humans can be selfish, right? Back to 1, 2, and 3. So those are the 10 simplified rules that I try to utilize in all of the work that I do. I hope there was something there. Take a look at your stuff through the lens of these rules and see if there's opportunities for you to maybe change, revise, improve what you're doing. I mentioned some resources here. So on the, let's see, what number were we talking about? Customer languages, right? And so understanding your customers. Rule 5, if it's hard to understand, they won't remember it. On the Practical Marketing Show website, practicalmarketingshow.com, I'm going to link back to my other podcast, which is the ChatGPT experiment. And there's an episode that I did regarding taking a ChatGPT bot and building a model to replicate the perspective, fears, concerns, needs, goals, wishes, questions, all that kind of stuff of your ideal customers. There's a 2-part exercise there, and you'll find it on episode 63. And there's a download. I'm going to link to it from the Practical Marketing Show page. But it's an exercise where you can use ChatGPT to build an attribute list for all of your best customers. Things like what they look like, feel, want, as well as friction, frustrations, goals, pains, all that kind of stuff. And then utilize all that information to replicate basically your own focus group in ChatGPT so that you can talk to it on a regular basis. You can share marketing copy. You can ask it, does this make sense? Do you have any questions after reading this? That kind of thing. So you'll have a 24/7 assistant there that thinks and feels and gives you feedback, just like your best customer would, right? So 10 rules. I hope that was helpful. Hope there's something there for you. Appreciate you listening to the show. Keep it practical. Keep it common sense. I think we need more of both. And appreciate you joining me. Until we talk soon. Be well.